blasting off into the sunset with round 800 of the Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro OSP comp. I always get that name wrong. We're going to come afterwards in the outro and do a little quick comparison between triggers. My take, my expert opinion, it's not expert, I'm just my personal preference. Just because I wanted to start the conversation and just talk about, since I saw some discussions before on the triggers, and it made me think about, you know, the state of each stage of the trigger, like the take up wall, no, it's not gonna do there, take up wall, take up to the wall, and then break, right? So we'll do that with these three, the Canik Mete MC9 Prime, which I haven't visited this thing in a long time. It was my carry for a second, but then I haven't shot EDCs through it, and so I just didn't want to, I'm sorry, jacketed hollow point EDC carry ammo through it, so I didn't want to get ahead of myself and wanted to do it afterwards. But yeah, we'll talk about this trigger, because I know I got a lot of dislikes on that review video, and yeah, it was very, very interesting doing the Shadow Systems CR920 XP, which I did carry for a second, and then my current carry, which is the P365 X macro comp, and then future carry, current firearm. So save for the outro. We'll take a look at those really quick and just talk about, where does it go? There it is. Talk about my preference for the triggers, and do a little poundage test. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Enjoy, and we'll see you in the outro.
This video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. All firearm handling shown is performed by trained individuals in a controlled environment. Always follow the 4 rules of gun safety. Number 1, treat your firearm as if it's loaded. Number 2, never point a firearm at anything you do not intend to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Number 4, be sure of your target and what's beyond it. Comply with all local, state, and federal laws regarding firearms. Do not attempt to replicate any action seen in this video without proper training and safety measures. The creators assume no liability for misuse or unsafe practices.
Hello, you. Welcome back here to the Pew for this 1,000 round review series of the Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro Comp OSP Comp. Shooting today with HSL ammunition, 124 grain full metal jacket with the G-Code Paradigm holster, the Blackhawk mag caddy, 2 We the People mag pouches, and a Tier 1 concealed mag pouch. All right, yeah, looking good here today. Punched out to 13.6 yards for the humble tree, 16 yards for the yellow, and another 22 for the orange silhouette. I have allergies today. The wind's been kicking it up, so I do apologize if I'm sneezing, sniffling, all that stuff. Stand by, I'm gonna fix that orange target, because that thing is gonna come over again. All right, this is round 800 with the Hellcat Pro Comp OSP Comp. It's been shooting awesome, wonderfully. So we'll get loaded here and start the show. I don't know why I did that. All right. Let's go 22, but we're not going to stay there. I'm going to dance around a little bit just to mix things up. Nope. Come on, baby. Stay in your place. Ah. No. Oh, what's going on? I'm probably hitting too far left. Amy. No, what? Where is it? There he is. Strange. Come on, where is it? Aiming is way off today. Not having it today. Bad 800. It's just all over the place. Come on, baby. Can't aim in the middle. I have to aim off to the right. Both eyes open. Great shooting, terrible accuracy for me. I don't know. I need to lock it in. I'm just not having the sights work for me. I don't know. This will be an endeavor to sit down with paper targets and do a whole day with sighting in irons.
Thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned for 900 coming up. That was 124 grain, that was 800. Stay tuned for the outro. Don't forget to aim for center mass, pick up your brass, wash your ass. Say hi to your mom for me.
Yeah, all right. 800 down, 200 left. Did a little bit better, and watching through it, editing, I noticed that I'm just being hard on myself again. I did okay, and a lot of those first shots, which I do want to always hit before I move on with the rest of the shoot, I didn't get. So I have to work on my initial shots, and which is why the iron sights are very temperamental with me, and it seems like that with the Echelon too. So both these platforms are wonderful, magnificent, and I love them. They just suck for me. So I don't know what it is. It's me, of course, but I don't know what it is about me that I can't get a beat. So let's do the little. I think I did the trigger test before with this at, I think it was like 7 pounds. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because it was long. Yeah, it's like 7.5. So seven to 7.5 for the Hellcat. And with this, the take up to the wall is nice. It's right there. It's distinct. There's no mush in between. There's not even a little give. Once you start on that wall, you can see a little forgiveness, and then break. So that to me is very, 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 very good for an EDC. And then the reset is a little further out there. I'd say it's half. I mentioned this before. It's about half further than I'd like it to be. But overall, the trigger for an EDC, which I know there's studies that have been done by police officers or ballistics experts or just statisticians, talking about how our hands engage with, like, I think 120 pounds worth of pressure when our adrenaline's pumping. So we don't even notice when, we're in a firefight, allegedly, right? Because I'm, thank God I haven't been in one, and if you have or have not, you can give your take, but we don't notice anything about the the poundage and the forgiveness and all that stuff. And so my logic behind actually having that on a firearm is negligible, and it wouldn't count at all if I, God forbid, have or get into any sort of life and death situation. So it's literally for the range, just for NDs, just for unintentionals, and in my mind that I want to keep consistent. But here in the real life, real world, it doesn't matter. So that being said, and then let me know what you think too, because I'm basing this off of some studies that have been done. I haven't had real world experience. So if you have had real world experience, then please give your input. So moving on to the CR920 XP, which I have to mention, all of these, every single one of these are phenomenal carries, and they are awesome. I did a review on them. Check them out if you haven't seen them. It's clear. Reset. I didn't do a test on this before, so interested to see what it'll be for me as well. Oh, come on. Let's get it set up first. Hang on. Okay, that didn't work. Try it again. That is not, did not seem right. Hold on. This is a little bit tougher to get. Okay. All right, that's not working. Ugh. I forget how people did this with these little trigger shoes. Okay, that passed 8 pounds. This is gonna be a minute. I'm so sorry. Bear with me, please. That's past 8 pounds, but that can't be right. So we'll say inconclusive right now with the CR920 XP from Shadow Systems. Let's move on. So we have about 7.5 to 7 pounds for the, and I just did this one too. I think this is about 6 or 5.5. Oh, no, 4.5. One more time, for good measure. Yeah, this is a very nice trigger. Okay, 4.5 to 5. 4.5 to 5, let's just say it like that. And then last but not least, my least favorite trigger, and I know it and a lot of you don't don't agree, and I'm not saying the trigger is objectively bad. I'm saying for an EDC, I would much rather have something like the P365, the CR920 XP, a Glock style trigger where there's a lot more give in between the wall. So I didn't do it with the SIG, I just did it recently, but your take up is here to the wall, and then break is, well, a little bit of squish, a little bit more, and then break. So it's really nearby, and the reset too is very, very near. Well, that little bit, I don't like how that flings out from the reset, right? I would rather it just reset right there instead of out again and then reset. So in any case, going to the CR or the Mete MC9 Prime, take up is pretty far, take up to the wall, and then break is just right there, which is nice, objectively speaking. It is a beautiful trigger. Reset is also very nearby, just a couple little branches out, but this has got to be, I think, 3, maybe 3.5. And that was bad. That was 5, so I was totally off. That is not right, so let's try it again. Okay, it's probably 5. Yeah, 5, 5.5. One more time. Okay. 4.5 to 5 pounds. So the point I'm making here is not necessarily the weight. I just did that for posterity, right? Just to show the differences between all these different firearms. But for me, what it is that the differences of the 3 stages: the take up to the wall to break, and then break to reset. Which, of course, the most important part for me is the wall to break. So wall to break here is just nothing, which again, objectively speaking, is amazing. I love that about the Canic. I just don't love that for EDCs. So take up the wall, which is right there, I love it. And then just a little forgiveness, a little bit of squish, and then boom. So this has the next least amount, but I like it the best because it does have a little bit in there. You see that little push in? It has that. That's what I want. Again, for training purposes, yes. And then for, in life and death situations. This one is very similar to the Springfield, where take up wall and then squish, squish, bam. So 2 bits of forgiveness in there. And then that's it. And then back to the Springfield. This one has a nice take up to definitive wall. A little bit of squish, a little bit more, and then squish. Okay, so a couple, like 2.5. And then reset. It's a little bit further out there than I would like. But in any case, that's what I'm looking for with these. And I know it's a little bit longer outro, but I wanted to push that off to the community. Let me know of your EDCs, right? Which one, if you do carry a lot of different ones, do you notice that distinct difference? And then also to that play in between the trigger and, I'm sorry, not the trigger, but the wall and the break. And what do you prefer the most, And like I said, I've had this conversation before, but I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to bring the Canic back in to talk about it. Let me know if you shot a Canic Mete MC9 Prime and what you think. The triggers are all the same with all the different Canics. The performance Canics, some of the other earlier models didn't have this, flat trigger with the big trigger blade in the middle blade. But then they put them on afterwards, so they have this now clean, crisp, and super close break from the wall, which is, again, great, but for concealed carry stuff, I'd much rather have something of the other variety. Let me know what you think. This was a great shoot. Come back for 900. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's a little bit longer, so I do appreciate you. Like, subscribe, comment, recommend, all that jazz, not in that particular order. Blast me in the comments about the Canik again. I don't mind it, because that's why we talk about it. It's just my preference. It doesn't mean that it's objectively bad. It is a great trigger, but for the purposes of what you're doing it for. I think he was nothing fancy. He had the philosophy of use, right? The POS, right? Philosophy of, oh no, POU, right? POU. Philosophy of use of why you're using the gun, what is it for, and of those characteristics of that firearm, how are they applicable in the setting, and are they what you want or what you should have, depending on what your preferences are, of course. So anyway, let's talk about it. Come back for 900. We're almost through. 照顾好自己，注意安全。